Now, a First Alert Weather Breakdown. First Alert Weather Day Special Edition with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on to, another First Alert Weather Day here in the ArkLaTex. Here for us on your Thursday. This is a look at our current First Alert Doppler radar. Got a lot more rain activity on it compared to yesterday. Yesterday at this time, we didn't really see too much at all, but now we're facing pretty much widespread storms around the northern half of the ArkLaTex. This is about, just so you know, this picture right here has been about the same picture all morning long. We've continued on with consistent rain showers in areas of the northern half of the ArkLaTex essentially since I got into work, which was around, just so you know, 3 in the morning. So for the past 7 to 8 hours, we've continued to see stuff like this here in the ArkLaTex, where we're continuing to see more of these just tiny little popcorn kernels flowing in areas around Mount Pleasant, just areas just off to the north side of Texarkana, up towards Nashville, Idabel, and over towards Hope as well. In southwestern Arkansas. I got a little hiccup there. Last thing I want to share with you before we kind of go over the overview basis of things. This is a look at your 48-hour rain totals. And again, the theme this morning has been continuous rainfall in the northern half of the ArkLaTex. Just taking a look at what we've gotten here so far. If I can go ahead and kind of pinpoint a few areas out here for you. There's Idabel, 2 inches of rain near there. Also got about almost 3 inches. Looks like just south of Nashville, east of Stamps, almost 3 inches of rain. And just so you know, we just finished by day 1 of 4 First Alert Weather Days. Wow. Still got a long way to go here in the ArkLaTex here for you. Welcome on to the stream. I am, if I can get my computer to work. Beautiful. Hi, I am First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason. Welcome on to the stream here. Yes, it's another First Alert Weather Day here in the ArkLaTex. So you want to make sure you're weather aware with us here at KSLA News 12. And that's why we're here for you on this stream. Thanks most and foremost to those of you watching from our Facebook stream as well. Again, we only stream on Facebook pretty much for First Alert Weather Days here for the most part and significant weather events. I see already all of you trying to comment in questions, answers. Good morning. I just want to go ahead and say good morning, Elaine, watching from Shreveport. Good morning, Lewis from Texarkana. Good morning, Melissa from Minden. I will get to questions there in just a moment. Anna, Keithville. Beautiful. Good morning to you. Vicky is watching. Good morning to you. It is 10:30. It's time to prepare for another severe weather day here for the day today. And if I can sum up all questions in kind of let's go with 2 statements here for the day today. First of all, let's go with probably the most simplest of statements. And the first statement I really want to make about the weather here for today is yesterday's forecast is pretty much the same carbon copy for today's forecast. There's some tweaks, yes, but in its simplicity, we pretty much have the same forecast from yesterday in store again here for the day today, which is not good for our region, especially for those of you that saw severe storms yesterday. You are, again, the likely candidate to receive those storms again here for the day today in the ArkLaTex, all right? So, sadly, most of this is going to look to target the same areas. I think the only tweaking of things is the timing. We're going to get the same threats again, the hail, the chance of tornadoes again, yes, here into the ArkLaTex. So it's going to be a busy day here for this afternoon. Again, I think we're just tweaking the timing a little bit. And what I mean by that, there's some interest on our future tracks that maybe tracks onto some of these supercells forming earlier than, say, 5 p.m. Because if you were with us here for our tornado coverage yesterday, we were live on air covering from about 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. with a confirmed tornado that ended up going essentially from the ArkLaTex border and actually it more originated from southern Cass County in Texas, went across the ArkLaTex border, went into essentially our southern Arkansas counties through Miller, Lafayette, and also through Columbia counties near there. Thankfully, we at KSLA News 12 are happy to report, and we've already made calls out about as of an hour ago. There's no damage reported from any of those tornadoes, which is good. Besides, I think we've seen a couple tree limbs, a couple trees down, a couple power outages in those kind of areas. but no significant damage, which is good here for the time being. Also want to give a shout out again to those of you watching. Thanks. Good morning, Scarlett, and also good morning to Carla watching from DeQueen. DeBerry, Texas. Hannah, good morning to you. Carolyn in DeKalb. Crystal in Shreveport. Again, I will get to questions in just a little bit. Let's talk about what's on for the stream here today, and it's probably no surprise that I'm talking about First Alert Weather Days. In fact, I haven't even changed this from yesterday. Overall, today is Thursday. Today is day 2 of 4 days. We are in the middle of our marathon. Remember, this is not just a quick sprint across a day for one First Alert Weather Day. This is multiple First Alert Weather Days, plural, which you're unfortunately stuck in the middle of here for the day today. Now, we're going to go, in addition to the future track for the rest of today, we're going to go over kind of what you can expect here into your Friday. And Saturday, too, is, again, we approach the last day of the work week, and also one of those First Alert Weather Days is hitting us for one of the days for the weekend, which is crucial to some of your weekend plans. In fact, just so you know, something I usually bring on my Thursday forecast, I pretty much bring this on every single time, is the weekend forecast. I did not even do that today because I've had so much to talk about between threats, between timing of things on different future tracks, to what areas are getting more of those threats compared to others. Again, there's so many more details to kind of sort out in this future track, in this full forecast. So guess what? We're gonna do that for you here. For those of you here for the first time, welcome onto the stream. Essentially, we take the weather from the news shows that you watch on television, and we essentially expand on it by, say, 200 to 300%, if not more. If you can tell, I've been introducing the weather for a good 3 to 4 minutes. I don't have time for this, obviously, on air. My main weather segment is usually 2 to 3 minutes. It's usually around the ballpark of 3 minutes. But the point is, we essentially do the weather forecast in like 10 minutes and go over a lot more detail of everything you need to know with the threats, timing. I can slow down the future track in this podcast compared to on air, where I kind of just need to get out simple, straight points that get the overall basis and still get the overall message of what's happening here for the day today. I can still get that in the news show just fine. But essentially, we get into the nitty-gritty, the details, the timing, the exact timing for certain areas. I can answer questions on streams, which I will do after the forecast. The point is, we're going to go into the forecast first because I may answer your question during the forecast. And secondly, then I will answer your questions if you have any questions after that for specific towns, specific timings, that kind of thing. So just so you know, when I'm going over this forecast, I will not even be checking the stream at all. I'm not going to be doing that until afterward. And then I will go into that in and of its entirety. All right, last little statement I want to state here before we get into the actual forecast is the second statement of the kind of overall forecast for the day today. The further north you are in the ArkLaTex, the greater chance you have at receiving severe weather. I'm going to repeat that again. The further you are north in the ArkLaTex, the greater chance of severe weather that you have. For example, Texarkana, you're expected to get a good bit here for the day today. Meanwhile, Natchitoches, I'm going to be quite frank with you, you're kind of chilling on with a hot, sunny day here for today with just a slim 10 to 20% chance of getting a brief rain shower. But honestly, I'm not expecting anything for areas around Natchitoches or Natchitoches at all. All right. Let's get into the forecast. Oh, man. A lot to get over, a lot to get to. Let's get into it. Enough rambling from me. Cloudy skies here for Shreveport. This is the exact same picture we pretty much saw yesterday. If you look real closely, the clouds are moving really rapidly up to the north as well, which is also something that's been happening yesterday. Again, what was the first statement I made on air? Today's forecast is almost a carbon copy of what it is again today because of the stationary front in store and pretty much stationary front staying in the same spots again here for the day today. For Shreveport, Bossier, we'll go over your forecast locally here in just a little bit. Texarkana, though, you are definitely more prone to receiving severe weather here for the day today. So far, we're not seeing too much. Again, just gloomy skies ahead with lots of cloud cover building leading into our severe storms here for the day today. So the timing of things, especially with the severe weather threat, I'm expecting that to start to build up in the next hour or two. We'll start to get a little more severe weather threat and kind of building a little bit more. And I think the peak of the system is, again, almost the same timing as yesterday. For the most part, we'll get into that future track here in just a little bit, but I think storms could build as early as 11 a.m. noon. that kind of time frame. But overall, for the most part, again, we want you to stay first alert with us here, not just for today, but unfortunately, we have first alert weather days on this marathon all the way through Saturday. To repeat that again, Thursday is a first alert weather day. Friday is a first alert weather day. Saturday is also a first alert weather day. Sunday is the first day that is not a first alert weather day. Sunday is the day you and I are looking forward to. When I can finally breathe. Anyways, first alert top of the radar. Let's get straight into kind of the nitty-gritty of what's happening right now before we get into anything else, because this kind of helps us determine what's coming this way. All right, so throughout the morning, this has been pretty much the consistent radar picture. We do have rain here. Don't get me wrong. We have rain in Ashdown. We have rain around Nashville. In some areas around northeast Texas, around Mount Pleasant. Looks like just off to the west side of New Boston. A few cells just to the east side of Hope as well. There's not a lot overall south of Texarkana. Most of this has just been forming either at or just north of Texarkana, and then from that position, most of these storms have been just moving northward out of the region. So they've only been affecting essentially the northern edge of the ArkLaTex. But I want to go ahead and zoom out. That's what's happening locally here right now, is those kind of popcorn kernel cells. Looking out to our west, this is what we're watching out for. This is the radar picture out towards Dallas and Fort Worth. This is the radar picture from Fort Worth in particular. And you see a little more consistent bands, actual bands of rain showers, slowly but surely moving eastward. Right now, one of those is on top of Terrell at this hour. Again, these are moving east towards the ArkLaTex here at this hour. The other radar picture I want to show you is what's happening in Oklahoma, which is a little more widespread rain and a little more moderate to heavy rainfall coverage. And most of this is just sticking out on the north side of McCurtain County at this hour. But again, that could change, especially with these lines of storms coming on by. If I actually show you the full picture, which I can actually do by clicking that button. There we go. If you notice, there's the full picture. Obviously, a huge system regardless. Most of our wet weather and most of our heavy rain is off to our north and east. But more storms are expected to form and build as we mature and as we heat up into the afternoon. So, before we get into the future track, let's look at some broad overarching kind of themes here for the day today, and also some broad looks at the satellite picture. Overall, again, first alert weather days are in effect here for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. If anything, the severe weather chance has actually grown since yesterday and for all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday again. Sunday is the day that you're looking forward to, and by Monday, we are completely dried out. So, stationary fronts on top of us here for today and tomorrow. The stationary front on Saturday starts to move. In that case, that clears us up finally in time for Sunday. So essentially, front is stalling out on our region. It is stuck for several days. I think you get the point. It's going to continue to give us multiple rounds of rain, which the worst threat with multiple rounds of rain stuck in the same location is flash flooding. As I mentioned, already with the rain totals over the past 24 hours, we've already got some spots in McCurtain County and southwestern Arkansas that have already picked up 3 inches of rain pretty much from yesterday and this morning alone. We still have to get through the rest of today, tomorrow, and Saturday through the rain in all of those areas. So that's going to be big issues because we've already received a good amount of flash flooding in McCurtain County. That's even forced a few road closures yesterday. I'm not sure if some of those localized roads have reopened in areas of southeastern Oklahoma, but I think you get the point. That's the issue. Things are not getting better, is what I'm trying to say. They're not going to be getting a bit better until we finally clear the wet weather completely out of here, which is going to take a while. There's a look at that stationary front. Thankfully, most of the high cloud tops and the high cloud cover with all that thick and heavy rain and more of a blanket of rainfall is headed off to our north and east. But look at that little deck of clouds that's going through Dallas and Fort Worth. That's what we're continuing to keep you mainly first alert about here for the day today, because that's going to move slowly but surely eastward. And as our daytime hours start to take over and actually heat us up, that heats up the storms out to our west, and that produces the severe weather we're going to see here locally, especially as those storms continue to move eastward. So let's take a look now at a future track. I know the moment you've all been probably waiting for. All right, so again, we have these popcorn type of storms where they're just giving us little pockets of moderate and heavy rainfall. Still, it looks like for the next hour or two, this is a future track that tries to kind of reestablish itself and rerun itself essentially in its entirety I'd probably say 2 to 3 hours or so. This is new as of, I believe, 2 hours ago. This is a little old run, but still, this is the newest run we have on this model. These storms continue to mature, again, with some daytime heating, and I'm looking for a little more formation that can kind of show us more of a thorough line of heavier rain showers rather than just these tiny popcorn-type storms. More that's going to start to form, it looks like, by noon, 1 p.m. You see those kind of cells that get a little larger in size and grow a little more intensity, especially in areas, again, in McCurtain County and areas in north of Texarkana, the same exact areas that have been ran under this morning. Then, as you get a little further on into the afternoon, you watch out for some of these cells that contain the pink there, and that could give you your supercells, which unfortunately give us that tornadic threat, which starts, it looks like, on this future track as early as 1, 2 o'clock instead of later on in the afternoon hours. Most of this is present around northeast Texas and southwestern Arkansas. And I'm going to talk about Shreveport and Bossier a little later on just for generic forecast. One thing to keep in mind, you notice a little stray shower there forming around the Shreveport-Bossier area on that future track at 1, 2 p.m. I would take that with a grain of salt. That's just something the future track kind of just suggests, like a pop-up shower could occur somewhere east of the main line, and that could end up somewhere around Shreveport and Bossier. For example, at Shreveport-Bossier, we really didn't see much in terms of rain at all yesterday. And overall, for the day today in Shreveport and Bossier, we have about a 50-50 call as to whether or not any storms hit us because we're away from the main line, and most of these storms continue to hit off to areas to our north for Shreveport alone. So these cells start to hit their areas more towards Texarkana and the bulk of southwestern Arkansas more towards 3, 4 o'clock. And I'm just worried. You see those cells just forming that pink shade there. That indicates really heavy intensity with some strong thunderstorms and supercells that will be moving through that area. Again, that's northeast Texas and southwestern Arkansas for you. And this could continue to mature all the way essentially until sunset tonight. 6 p.m., the storms, again, continue to move through the same areas, northeast Texas and southwest Louisiana, before finally starting to, I guess, weakening into the nighttime hours a little bit here for the night tonight on your Thursday. And we're expecting the same thing, by the way, out of Friday, too. Just give you a quick little preview of that tomorrow morning, kind of showing up those tiny little storms again before we mature some of those storms here from our afternoon. Let's look at another future track. We have 2 future tracks here. Personally, I don't care too much for this one when it comes to intensity, but this kind of gives us a little bit of a different sense of what could happen as well, especially with timing of things. So let's look at this future track over the next several hours. I'm going to go kind of hour by hour with this again. You kind of see the maturity of some of these cells into the late afternoon hours around 3 p.m., and it looks like that mostly affects those of you along the I-30 corridor. I did not mean to go that quickly, sorry. It affects most of you along the I-30 corridor around Texarkana throughout the afternoon and evening hours. Looks like we hopefully weaken ourselves by 7, 8 o'clock. Maybe a stray shower late tonight or 2 there you see there before finally mostly staying quiet for the overnight hours. Then we get into Friday, and Friday, kind of a similar morning to this morning. A few of those light rain showers kind of lingering along. This kind of graphic suggests some of that light rain coverage gets down into areas of Shreveport and even the southern half of the ArkLaTex here, which would be interesting to see. But then here comes Friday afternoon, and you see the maturity of some of these cells really starting to strengthen here for tomorrow afternoon. Mount Pleasant to Queen here for tomorrow afternoon around 5 p.m. Again, it is the same areas again on Friday, which is sad to see because, I mean, you're looking at 3 consistent days of this attacking northeast Texas and southwestern Arkansas. So it goes through Texarkana, southwestern Arkansas, and northeast Texas. Looks like this timing has it occurring a little more later at night compared to earlier in the afternoon for the day today, and maybe even creeping into the overnight hours into some areas around southwestern Arkansas. Then there's a big change for our first look weather day on Saturday because look at the round coming from Dallas and Fort Worth again early on Saturday morning. Looks like this forms a full line. You could tell there's already a difference in this line on Saturday morning. Yeah, this is going to be affecting everyone. And if Shreveport and Bossier doesn't see anything out of the next 2 days, which they might not, again, I have about a 50-50 call as to whether or not any of the cells from today hit Shreveport or Bossier for both today and tomorrow. Saturday, it's going to hit everybody. The entire line of storms is going to hit everybody, bringing the same severe weather threats again. That includes tornadic coverage. That also includes flash flooding and hail as well. So this is going to continue on through Saturday morning. And we can even have a couple heavier rain showers still sticking around through Shreveport, even into Saturday night, too, before finally drying up slowly but surely on Sunday, especially after the morning hours. But I'm watching out for that big line that's going to affect everybody on Saturday. All right, so let's go into some specifics before I start answering some questions here. Excuse me. So we got heavier rain showers. I think you get the case in point here for the next 2 days and the next several days overall. More rain further up into the northern half of the region, up into Texarkana, essentially everybody along the I-30 corridor. That's why those areas are under a flood watch essentially all the way until Sunday. Huge amount of time. It is going to be long and lengthy. So let's focus on those typical hot zones here for the next several days across our first alert weather days. Again, today, the further north you are, the greater chance of severe weather you have. Again, most of our severe weather chances are under the enhanced risk again here for the day today to Queen, Texarkana, Magnolia. I got Shreveport and Longview under the slight risk here for today for maybe a brief shot at maybe a tornado or two, but most of that coverage, again, should be north of I-20 around the I-30 corridor. Then tomorrow, it's almost the same thing. I mean, some of you probably didn't even notice that I changed the graphic. To be quite frank with you, it is hitting, the point is, it's hitting these same areas again tomorrow afternoon. Saturday is our day of change. That's where the enhanced risk instead goes to areas in the southern half of the ArkLaTex, areas that have not seen the severe storms at all. It will be their chance for one day on Saturday. And that enhanced risk covers all of northwest Louisiana. It also covers a corner of southwestern Arkansas that is actually getting hit by these storms over the next few days. But it also includes a little section of East Texas as well, most of our East Texas counties. I wanted to end off with this, a little recap of what we're expecting here for the day today. Again, especially most of you concerned about the tornadic risk. Here is a map literally just concerning tornadoes. This isn't just like looking at a severe weather threat. This is looking at the greatest chance of tornadoes forming around the region or around the day here for the day today. And if something forms, it'll be likely in areas around Texarkana here for this afternoon. That'll also include areas of northeast Texas, too. Looking like Bowie County is included in that, and most of our southwestern Arkansas areas, including Magnolia. Looks like the Queen is barely outside of that area, but again, most of southwestern Arkansas is covered underneath the greatest chance of tornadic threats here for the day today. That tan shade, I would say, does include a legitimate chance of tornadic activity as well, too, but definitely not as great as that yellow shade. So I could still expect to see potential, or let me phrase that differently. I would not be surprised to see a tornadic or storm form in the tan area, but overall, I'm expecting the greatest chances of tornadic activity to be in that yellow shade, essentially. So overall, I would phrase it like this. I would show you a stray chance of a tornadic storm here for today across Shreveport, Longview, DeQueen, and Mount Pleasant. It is possible in those areas. If you're in the green or outside of the green, I'm pretty much not expecting anything for you guys at all today. So that's the best rule of thumb. 7-day forecast. Then I will start answering questions after a break. I'm going to take a drink of water after this. It's 10:50. You get this forecast has been 20 minutes long almost. 3 first solar weather days in a row. Today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Just so you know, those rain chances are locally for Shreveport. So again, a flip of a coin to whether or not you get a rain shower here for the day this afternoon. And for Shreveport, our main first alert weather day for Shreveport alone is mainly going to be on Saturday. If a storm does hit you again for Thursday and Friday, it is likely to contain severe weather still for Shreveport. So we still want to keep you first alert and weather aware here for this afternoon and the next 2 afternoons. Saturday is your main day, and most of that storm activity, most of the actual line comes through Saturday morning, but the rain could linger all the way through Saturday afternoon and Saturday night before finally drying up on Sunday slowly but surely. Look at the high on Sunday, by the way, 55 degrees, very chilly for the second tail end of the weekend. Then we have a beautiful work week next week. In fact, the entire 12-day forecast so far looks completely dry, which means all of next week looks completely sunny and dry, and starting to get a little warmer in those temperatures as well. Whew. All right. I know several of you have had questions, I promise. I know you've probably been asking those questions during the stream. Well, I have not been looking at the stream. I've been focusing on the graphics only. I can only look at one thing at a time, unfortunately, with the setup that I got for the time being. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this on a severe weather outlook graphic here, and I'm actually going to take a minute commercial break, just to take literally a drink of water, and then I will start answering questions on Facebook and YouTube. I will hop over those after this quick break to recover my voice and breathe. I will see you after a minute, I promise, and I'll be back to answer questions. All right, welcome back to the first start with a breakdown. I am leaving the graphic on like this, all right, just for those of you just kind of popping in, kind of just wondering about the weather forecast while I answer questions. That graphic is pretty much the story of the day today. Just to kind of recap this graphic before I go to questions. Essentially, again, the further north you are in the ArkLaTex, the greater chance of severe weather you have around the region. And most of that is going to be surrounding the I-30 corridor. Still a chance, I'd call it a flip of a coin. Boop. Flip a coin for a chance at whether or not you get severe storms along the I-20 corridor. Some models say they are, some models say they aren't. So that's what we're dealing with here for the day today. I'm going to start off with YouTube. I do see one comment on YouTube before I get to Facebook. Jordan says, how bad are these storms going to be? Well, thanks for joining the stream, first of all, Jordan. I honestly expect most of these storms to be pretty much as bad as they were yesterday, unfortunately, which means, unfortunately, I am expecting a confirmed tornado, at least for the day today, and a few tornado warnings, kind of similar to how yesterday went around the ArkLaTex. Again, we had one confirmed tornado through Miller, Lafayette, and Columbia counties in essentially our southernmost southwest Arkansas counties. It went just barely by Magnolia and Stamps yesterday. Expecting some of those more tornado warnings to appear again here today, mostly in that enhanced risk. They could form in the yellow risk still. I would not say green or areas outside the risk at all will get anything whatsoever. That's what we're mainly watching out for. All right, that's YouTube. Okie dokie. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go start from the back, as far back as my comments can go, on Facebook, which starts with Crystal, which with just the fact that she's asking for the weather in Shreveport. 25 minutes. This was a comment from 25 minutes ago. Essentially, it's just a coffee line. If you left a comment 20 minutes ago, I'm going to answer those first. Compared to the comments 2 minutes ago, you get the point. So Crystal just asked, what's the weather for Shreveport? Shreveport, again, as I kind of just mentioned, flip of a coin, 50-50 call. Yesterday, Shreveport Bossier didn't get really anything. It was just windy, cloudy, and that was it. But maybe we could be on the 50 call of us actually getting in on a brief severe storm here for the day today. And if it happens, severe storms are definitely likely. Let me rephrase that. Sorry. If a storm does hit, it's likely to contain severe weather. The big question is if for Shreveport, all right? So that's essentially what we're dealing with here for the day today. All right, I already answered those. Tiffany, Stanley, Louisiana. I got to ask where. Some of these towns I got to look up as well because I remember them as well, but then I'm like, do I really remember where these places are? Stanley, Louisiana. Spelled Stanley wrong. There we go. Stanley, Louisiana. If my phone could load. That's south. That's by Mansfield. You're mainly in that green risk. which is which is essentially a marginal risk, which means the tiniest risk of severe weather. Honestly, the farthest south I really see the tornadic activity and the severe threat happening. Logistically and logically, the farthest south I see that going is pretty much the I-20 corridor in the greater Shreveport-Bossier area. That's as far south as I see the severe threat getting here for the day today. I don't really see it creeping here for the green. So, Tiffany, I think you're good. I think you're good. Good morning from Atlanta, Texas to Janice. Good morning to you. Obviously, another busy weather day for you guys in Atlanta, Texas. You dodged that confirmed tornado. Him here from Atlanta. Thanks for watching, Kim. Again, we had a confirmed tornado that started out in southern Cass County, just basically off to the south side of Atlanta, moved northeast through our southwestern Arkansas counties. That was our one confirmed tornado from yesterday. I believe we did have reports of a funnel cloud also in Bossier, too, which did prompt another warning. Leslie, waiting to see if we see more than just a few sprinkles that we got here yesterday in Mineola, Texas. Well, if you remember my first statement of the stream, my first statement of the stream was pretty much it. The same forecast from yesterday is pretty much the same thing for the day today. But again, I promise I will look up your town and I will look up where you are to see if you're expecting the same thing. All right, so you guys are out north side of Tyler. Yeah, so I think you're in the slight risk here for today. So anyone in the slight risk is just giving that kind of a stray chance of severe weather at all. So I think it's unfortunately going to be the same thing for you. You were kind of on the 50 call of not getting severe weather. You could be on the 50 call of actually getting severe weather here for today, but flip a coin. Flip a coin if you're pretty much in that yellow shade here for the day today. All right. Michelle, how bad is it for Texarkana tonight and the timing, please? Yes, again, Texarkana is almost the bullseye. If you look at the full, in fact, I'll go ahead and move this risk. If you look at the full outlook, I mean, it's not the bullseye. The bullseye is pretty much Little Rock for the enhanced risk here for today, but it's in the middle of that enhanced risk. Essentially, the edges of the enhanced risk are areas around the Queen and Magnolia, and Texarkana is pretty much in the focal point of where our severe weather coverage is here locally in the ArkLaTex. Again, timing of things, I'm expecting afternoon hours. I'll go ahead and go over the future track actually real quick for you. Let me go back to this. This one updates literally hourly. So Texarkana, again, some of these cells that could produce tornadoes, I'm expecting, according to this future track, some of these cells could really get severe as soon as like noon, 1 o'clock. And then it looks like, based on this future track, things start moving finally into Texarkana more towards 3. It looks like. I know most of y'all just got heavy rain yesterday, most of the afternoon. And it almost looks like the same timing for that. It starts around 3, and it continues on and on. Kind of similar to yesterday, all the way until like 7, 8 o'clock. Which, again, was about the time of yesterday's storm. So about 3 to 8 to kind of play it on the safe side. Maybe 2 o'clock. Essentially the late afternoon hours. And unfortunately, again, you guys are kind of the bullseye of chances of severe storms here in the ArkLaTex. So going back to my other graphic. There we go. How bad will it be in Houghton? Houghton, similar to Shreveport. Flip a coin. Flip a coin. You be my guest and tell me if it is going to actually hit for the day today. Essentially, to go over this one more time, if you're in the enhanced risk, you are likely to see severe weather today. If you are in the yellow risk, you might see it. I want to emphasize on the word might. You might not. For example, Shreveport and Bossier yesterday did not see it. But you might see it here briefly here for the day today. Overall, greater chances of severe weather again loom for the northern half of the ArkLaTex. Good morning. I'm in Ringgold, too. Mimsy, thanks for joining the stream. If you're in Ringgold, same thing as Shreveport. How about Arkadelphia? My daughter and her child lives near there. Well, let me go back to my graphic control here. Arkadelphia is right up I-30. I do know where that is, in between Texarkana and Little Rock. As you see, that enhanced risk is pretty much centralized from Texarkana all the way. If I continue this all the way, this enhanced risk pretty much goes all the way to Nashville, just about, in central Tennessee. The point is, the enhanced risk does include Arkadelphia, which is right in the middle of that enhanced risk again here for the day today. So we're expecting similar risks of severe weather, which is severe weather likely happening in both Texarkana and Arkadelphia here for the day today. Lewis, good question. What does the rainfall amount look like? I'm going to go ahead and go back to that. I think I might have already answered that, but I'll go ahead and go back to it just because. Let's wait for this to pull up. And this is also, this rainfall graphic has always been giving me trouble. There we go. Finally appears there. These are the rainfall totals. And keep in mind, we already have put up about 2 to 3 inches of rain in areas along and north of Texarkana. So you're getting, on top of your 2 to 3 inches, you're getting about 3 to 4 more inches on top of that over the next 3 days, if not 5 or 6. It's going to be wild. There's some weather models that absolutely run wild with the rain totals, especially along and north of the I-30 corridor. I would not worry about rainfall totals, especially if you're along or south of I-20 here for the day today. That's pretty much the case. So we're watching out essentially for flash flooding where we have this flash flood watch. And this has been expanded to some of our northeast Texas counties, including Cass and Bowie County, and also Titus and Camp counties as well, around Mount Pleasant too, including Red River County. The point is, everywhere in that green has a legitimate shot at getting some flash flooding. If you're not in that green shade, we're not too much worried about the actual rainfall totals in and of themselves over the next several days. That is how that looks. Great question, Lewis. I know you're always watching from Texarkana. Appreciate you always coming into the streams. Kate, next up. What's your Brex prediction for Shreveport for Saturday evening for prom? Oh. Sorry. First of all, I remember my prom time. Great time. But, hey, if you have to deal with rain on top of that for Saturday night, that's yuck. That is a yuck. Kate, that is a fantastic question. Yeah, your emoji captures my face as well in that comment if you're still here. I know you sent that comment in 18 minutes ago. Let's look at the future track, the long-term one here, which is going to be this one. I believe I already know your answer, but let's go ahead and look at the future track again. Today, tomorrow, we continue to get storms in the same areas. As I said, Saturday is our day where we get this rain pretty much everywhere. And I'm looking for that first initial line to create probably the greatest chance of that severe weather activity. I think everything after this line is going to be threats of flash flooding and just a good amount of pockets of heavy rain. But that first little line that comes through early in the morning, looks like 9 a.m. as of right now. This could obviously change. This could change because we're still 2 to 3 days out. But this looks like the main line is actually happening in the morning hours, which is good. We get that away with first and foremost. But unfortunately, yeah, that heavy rain just likes to linger on the backside for a good, hefty amount of time. And unfortunately, I know my prom, personally, I believe, started around 7 p.m. Well, that future track does not look good for that, especially for those of you probably prepping up for, usually go out to dinner beforehand as well. So I'd probably say get the, ponchos ready, get the umbrellas ready with the outfits, and maybe plan on a little extra time, especially walking around in dresses. I know I don't know walking in heels, but the point is, I know people walking in heels, you take a little longer getting to and from places, so to speak. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't even look like our rain chances end until late on Saturday, and honestly, you might even deal with some storms after the prom dance in and of itself. So look at that. That's a cell even still creeping through Shreveport around 9-10 o'clock. I would say keep back in track with us here about Saturday night, because that obviously the timing could change. I will say the one good note about this, as I said earlier, is the severe weather threat of this system looks like it's gonna be gone by lunchtime, at least here locally in Shreveport. But that rain just kind of lingers on for the rest of the afternoon and the rest of the night. I know that's going to be ugly for prom. That's a great question, Kate. Thank you. Jonathan, yeah, I see some of the scammer comments. I'm just choosing to ignore them. You should too. They're not bothering me. I know they're a little annoying, but yeah. Eureka says you're here from Magnolia, Arkansas, 60 minutes ago. Again, I'm just kind of going up in order of the comments here. Hello. First of all, hello. For those of you watching from Magnolia, you guys took a close call with a confirmed tornado. Not going to lie, yesterday. Thankfully, that missed mostly off to your north on the north side of Columbia County. Reaching on to further comments. I believe I'm getting a little bit closer in the order here. Jonathan asks, what is Minden looking like? Let me go back to the threats. Minden isn't looking good on Saturday, I can tell you that. But here for the day today, just to talk about short-term stuff, Minden is under the slight risk. So, again, same case as Shreveport and Haught and flip a coin. You got about a 50-50 chance to receive a chance of a severe weather storm. So I'm going to say the same thing This is pretty much the same forecast for everybody in the slight zone. To kind of repeat this one more time again. It's about a 50-50 call if a storm hits, period. If that storm hits, it's not a question of the intensity or the severity of it. It is expected to be most likely a severe storm. The big question is if it does hit. Yesterday, it mostly didn't hit along the I-20 corridor. Today, it could. We'll see. We shall see. Again, it's a flip of a coin. Essentially, what am I supposed to say? Some of our weather models are showing that we do get some of the cells as far south as I-20. Some weather models aren't showing that we have cells at all on I-20. So the point is, we're uncertain. Essentially, I-20 is just the very tail end of the actual line of storms that were expected to come through here for the day today. So the question is, how long does that tail get? How long does it get? It was a short tail yesterday, thankfully, at least for Shreveport and Bossier. We'll see how long the tail goes for today. Keithville, Presley, 10 minutes ago. Let's go. By the way, I know it's past 10 o'clock or past 11 o'clock. We usually end this at 11, but I will go on obviously longer. I am good with answering your questions here for the day today. Oh my gosh, I cannot spell. Keithville. That's what I thought. Southern end of Shreveport. So southern end of Shreveport, you're still in that yellow shade. Flip a coin. Flip a coin as to whether or not you're going to get severe weather here for the day today. You got about a 50-50 call. As I said, time and time again. Yesterday, we did not get it. We had the 50% chance no call yesterday. That ended up being the winner. We'll see what the winner is today. We will see what the winner is today. Don't be surprised if storms don't hit, period. But at the same time, don't be surprised if they do. I know that's such a rough forecast. But again, essentially, those of you along the I-20 corridor are just the very tail end of these storms. How far south does the tail end get? That is, again, the big question here for this afternoon. Dalby Springs, Texas, from Darcy. Dalby Springs. Dalby Springs. Dalby Springs. Beautiful. That's what I thought. Up by Mount Pleasant, if my map will load. Northeast, in between Mount Pleasant and New Boston. You guys are under the enhanced risk. Again, that includes a little section of Northeast Texas. That includes the greatest threat for severe storms today, so I would definitely stay weather aware. Most of your timing is going to be in the, especially in that kind of area, I'd probably say early afternoon hours, more towards 2, 3 p.m. is what I target here at this time. All right. Chris lives by Lake Columbia. Hello, Chris. I'm in Haynesville, Louisiana. Same thing. Again, about a 50-50 call there for you, Kathy, for the severe storms today. Kate responds to the prompt question from earlier. I am worried, and thank you for the forecast. You are welcome. I am sorry I can't reassure you, I guess, that things will be great come time prom night on Saturday night. But, hey, at least you know now that, now's the time to prepare. Now is the time to prep yourself up for that rain. And again, thankfully, at least we shouldn't be dealing with severe weather Saturday night. It's just dealing with still lots of buckets of heavy rain kind of left behind. Samantha asks, what about Coshada? Coshada is under the green. That's in the marginal risk here for the day today, which includes the smallest chance of severe weather. Overall, I'm not expecting much for Coshada. Logistically, the farthest south I see this severe threat going is the I-20 corridor, which does not include Coshada. I think you're fine. I think if anything, you might see a brief rain shower here for today, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Gina asks, what about Natchitoches? Natchitoches, you're not even. I'm going to actually move my name here for a moment, or actually just pinpoint Natchitoches there for you, kind of move the picture a little bit. Natchitoches is the only area in the ArkLaTex that does not want to stress on that word, have a severe risk for today. Natchitoches, you're in the best position of anybody around here. You don't have to worry. Go ahead. Enjoy your day. It's going to be hot today in Natchitoches. We have a high temperature of 90 degrees down there. But watch out for that. Hello from Stamps, Arkansas, from Tanya. I'm finally getting closer on these comments 3 minutes ago. Yeah. Hello, Stamps. You guys dodged a confirmed tornado yesterday. We will unfortunately see about today. You guys are right, again, in that bullseye of enhanced risk. You want to especially stay weather aware here this afternoon, especially if you're anywhere across southwestern Arkansas here for the day today. All right, next one up. Shelby, Idabel, question mark. Idabel is included in that enhanced risk. That goes across, if I can move my graphic a little bit, That is included in the enhanced risk here for the day today. And most of those, you've been rained under a good bit already from this morning, but thankfully most of those cells have given us just a little bit of hail at best. Not any other greater severe weather threat at all here for right now. Thankfully, the severe weather threat, again, we haven't seen it yet. But the point is, Idabel, since you're still under that enhanced risk, you're one of those areas that could receive a good hefty chance of severe weather later on this afternoon. So I would stay weather aware. And especially if you're in Idabel, some of those storms could form as early as noon within the next hour or two, the more of those severe storms. So especially be watching here in the early afternoon there. All right. Before I answer more comments, I do see more comments. I will get to them, I promise, here in just a moment. I want to go over one graphic here really quickly just to check up on it because we haven't checked on it in the past, 40 minutes or so. And that is the current look at the Doppler radar, which continues to show nothing forming huge. Again, I'm looking out for these more massive, larger-sized cells that can help to produce supercells, which eventually leads to that tornadic threat and a greater hail threat. Oh, my gosh. Hail threat and lightning threat here for the day today. But thankfully, all we're seeing is these little pockets of heavy rain, which are still giving us a good chance of flash flooding, again, because these are happening in the same exact areas, north of Texarkana. Excuse me, here for the most part. So Ashdown, Foreman, Joella, we got a cell just south of Idabel, a cell right on top of New Boston. Some of this is affecting northeast Texas. I got some cells just on the north side of Atlanta right now, and some rain around areas around Nashville and north of Hope for the time being. All right, so that was just a look at the current radar. Thankfully, we don't see anything. Actually, I'm going to double check something real quick. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to put this on to make sure there's no alerts. No, there is no alerts around. Thankfully, there's the little cells by Dallas, and there's the little radar picture up in Oklahoma. Things are clearing out a little bit, but, man, with some daytime heating in the future track, these cells are expected to mature, especially as we get into the afternoon and get into the thick of the day here today. All right. Excuse me. Back to comments. I see that I have more. I didn't have any rain yesterday, says Jonathan, but there was a tornado warning in Minden. Yes, there was briefly. Somebody mentioned a funnel cloud, but thankfully that did not pop down in Minden, which is good news. Good news. Presley, what did you say earlier? Oh, you said what about Keithville? You asked about Keithville earlier, Presley. You said, thank you, it's close to the green area, so I was unsure. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you are kind of close to the green area, but you still technically are in the yellow, so I go flip a coin. For you. Harvey, you're watching from Shreveport. Thank you for watching. How bad is Shreveport? Close to Cross Lake. Again, anywhere in that yellow shade, including Shreveport, Bossier, pretty much anybody along, excuse me, I'm just sweating off a little bit. Anybody along that I-20 corridor has about a 50-50 call of getting a chance of storms here for the day today. If you get those storms, they will likely produce severe weather. I'm going to go ahead and say that one more time. The severe weather storm, the storms that do appear on the I-20 corridor, if they are there, they will likely produce severe weather. It's not a question of producing the severe weather with the storms. It's if the storms will form, period. Which yesterday they really didn't along the I-20 corridor for the most part. We had one tornado warning again, as Jonathan mentioned, across Minden, which was just north of the I-20 corridor. But even then, that didn't really fall. It was only a funnel cloud, thankfully, at best. It was. So the point is, we had a 50 miss pretty much yesterday. The 50% chance in Shreveport pretty much missed yesterday. It could miss again here for today, but it could also be a hit. You never know. So how bad will it be? 50-50 call. I don't know. It's just tough to say because, again, yesterday nothing happened. But, again, if a storm does happen at all in form, which could easily happen underneath these circumstances, then we could get a tornadic type of cell hitting Shreveport. I know it's not like exactly what you want to hear, but that's unfortunately kind of the case here for the day today. All right, so Rooster says, you saw the tornado yesterday in Wallow, Arkansas. Did you really? did you really? First of all, I don't recommend going outside and, physically watching tornadoes. We want you to shelter in place if you can, especially because, it's the best thing to do. But if you saw it, man, that's impressive. That's impressive. I got to give you props to that. But yeah, we always want you in your tornado safe space, just so you know. We don't want to encourage that here. But wow, that's impressive, man. I'm glad you, real impressive memory for you. There you go, to unlock there. I will say that. But definitely want to make sure you're safe, though. Stay on the safe side of things, all right? Always. Oh, Rooster, you were headed into the storm cellar. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, you were headed into the storm cellar as you were going. Okay, that makes thumbs up to that. That helps kind of clarify things a little bit better. There you go. Perfect. That's what you should be doing. And I'm sorry you had to do that, but hey, we're here to keep you weather aware about these instances when you have to do them, which unfortunately you might have to do it again today, later on this afternoon and this evening. But yeah, wild. Just so you know, when comments come in, they usually take an entire minute to load up on like my chat box here on the actual Facebook stream. All right, so we're heading to the end of comments here. Brenda asks about Sawyer, Oklahoma. Sawyer, Oklahoma is just to the west side of Idabel. West side of Idabel was actually included in that slight risk, which, as I said earlier, slight risk is about a 50-50 call on whether or not you get storms, period. Storms especially that mean anything of meaning, anything of severe weather. I think especially if you're up by Idabel, or not up by Idabel, but if you're up in areas just outside of Idabel, outside of McCurtain County, I think I have a greater chance of rain up there, actually. But I think the question mark there is actually, are the rain showers containing severe weather around that area? Which, more likely, no, actually, if you're especially in that yellow shade compared to the tan shade. Bobby Smith, 4 minutes ago. Why do the alerts sound on my phone? And when I check on it, it brings up video updates from 4 to 5 hours earlier. That was weird. I'm going to admit, I got a notification. I have a story to tell with that, Bobby, by the way. I got a notification, I believe, at 1 in the morning because, by the way, I have no sleep schedule. If you were curious. I got a notification at 1 in the morning about our chief meteorologist, Matt Jones, doing a video update, and he did it, I think, at 8 p.m. the night before. Something around that time. And, for example, for some reason, the alert didn't send out until 3 or 4 hours later at 1 in the morning, as I said. That was weird. That's something with the app. Obviously, I don't control it. I'm not a techie, unfortunately. I'm sorry about the First Alert Weather app acting like that. I will say we just send updates throughout the entirety of today. I don't know. That's the last thing. All right, I got 2 more comments. I already answered Rooster's comment about heading into the storm. Venetia, I think that's how I pronounce your name. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. What about Arcadia? Arcadia, I believe. Let me double check. Arcadia. I'm pretty sure I know where it is, but I want to make sure. Always want to make sure. Arcadia is east of Minden, a little bit on the outskirts of the area, out towards Ruston. You're in that yellow risk, but barely, I will say. So, again, anyone along that I-20 corridor has about a 50-50 call as to whether or not you get severe storms. As the case for Arcadia or anyone along 20, it's not a question of if I get storms, will they be severe? They will likely be severe if you have storms coming your way. The big question is if the storms form in the first place. Will they form in the first place? Which for most of us along I-20, the answer was no. But that could change here for the day today. Again, about a 50-50 call. What time are we looking at for the storm? Haley, it depends on where you are a little bit. I will say we're expecting some of these severe storms to form as early as 1 p.m. It's been a little while since I've actually gone over the future track, so let me do that again. It's been a little bit of some time. So this is one future track, which our future tracks, to be fair, have been a little rough. And what I mean by that is they have not been great on exact timing of things, but they give us some good estimates as to when to expect some stuff. So 1 p.m., I think that's when we see some of these cells start to become a little more mature, and especially when you see those shades of pink in some of those cells around, say, Mount Pleasant to Queen and areas north of Texarkana. That's what I'm watching for cells to actually starting to become more mature, to strengthen, and the cells the greatest chance of cells to produce severe weather activity, including hail and tornadoes. And most of that on this future track starts as early as 1 p.m., and most of that continues on through the afternoon, and looks like it starts to hopefully lose its intensity, hopefully by like 7, 8 o'clock, essentially around sunset time tonight. Oh, man. Martha says you're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for watching, Martha. I really appreciate it. Also appreciate the compliments. All right, just a few more questions, then I gotta hop off. I know I've been on this for essentially an extra 30 minutes. Sonia asked, what about Little River County? You kind of just saw the future track there. Little River County, you were pretty much in the bullseye for that chance of severe weather and severe storms across southwestern Arkansas. So watch out if you're in that. If you're anywhere in the tan shade there, you have a legitimate chance of severe weather. And again, most of that's going to happen in the afternoon. Some of that could start as early as 1 p.m., I'd probably say, according to our future track, especially, forming those good cells there, and could occur all the way through around dinner time tonight. Marshall, you're on that 50-50 call as well. As I've kind of mentioned time and time again on the stream, if you're anywhere along that yellow shade, along that I-20 corridor, you have about a 50-50 chance as to whether or not severe weather will actually hit your region. Yesterday, we had a 50-50 call yesterday, and the 50% call was a miss. But it could be, a hit here for the day today. We'll see. Essentially, what I've received based on my weather info has been half my weather models have shown you, yes, Marshall, Texas is getting hit by a storm in the afternoon. Other half of my weather models say Marshall is having just a cloudy but dry day here today. What am I supposed to tell you if I kind of have this discrepancy? And when I have this discrepancy, that's when we go into effect and say that you have kind of a 50% chance of the rain here for the day today. Thanks for the info, of course. What about Dubberly? Linda. I'm going to end this in about 5 minutes, regardless of whether or not we keep getting comments, because I got to go. Dubberly, Louisiana. Dubberly, same thing. You're in that yellow shade. That's what I thought. You're east of Shreveport. You're in that yellow shade. You got about a 50-50 call or whether or not you get severe storms here for the day today. And if it does form, expected to form later on this afternoon. Thanks for having our back and keeping us safe. No problem, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Christian, you live in Kentucky, and you can never be too prepared. Agreed. Especially with Kentucky. Kentucky's getting a little more chances of flash flooding up near there. Watch out for that. Magnolia, you are in that tan shade. I know you dodged a close call. You were with us hopefully here yesterday when we had a tornado warning in effect for your county. Columbia County yesterday in Magnolia. Thankfully, most of that missed off to the north side, even though it did get confirmed. But that could change here for the day today. Magnolia, you are under that enhanced risk, which is essentially the bullseye chance of severe weather here for the day today. And last comment I see on the Facebook stream here for now is Melanie. This is a great question. How high will the winds be in Natchitoches during Saturday storms? Oh, you're already panning ahead because you're like, today and tomorrow. Let me go ahead and put you tomorrow's risk. Tomorrow's risk, by the way, it looks exactly the same as today, pretty much. Then you get into Saturday, and that's when the risk spreads. Let me get myself out of the picture here so you can see. Natchitoches, that's when we have our greatest chance for those severe storms to hit. Winds. I'm putting it back to today's risk. So let me look at something that actually helps you out. I actually need to look at something behind the scenes that helps you out with that question there, Melanie, for the winds in Natchitoches there. Give me just a moment. I need to pull something out off to the side that helps me with winds. That's actually not in our graphic system at all. I can't show you, unfortunately, because I mean, I could if I had the power to, but the point is I'm looking at a website right now. Let's see here. I'm expecting strong winds here for the day today for Shreveport regardless, and the entire ArkLaTex area. I think the same case goes in store here for Friday too, and for Saturday, especially as the line's actually coming on through. So, and to me, I'm looking at the winds from yesterday that were recorded, and they look to be nearly about the same amount of winds that we're going to see this afternoon, the same amount of winds we're going to see for Friday afternoon, and as of right now, the same winds we're going to see for Saturday too, which unfortunately, yes, could mean bad news because I know some areas around Natchitoches and some areas around Natchitoches Parish did get power outages from yesterday, which was a little wild. So, yeah. That's a great question. I'd say just as high as yesterday, which unfortunately means 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So, unfortunately, you're going to be dealing with windy conditions until this finally moves on by until Sunday. 3 more days. Hopefully, you can hang in there. Hopefully, your power can hang in there. My goodness. Sarah says, yes, the tornado went right over us in Magnolia. Yeah, unfortunately it did. Glad to see you're okay. I will say that. I'm glad to see you are doing okay. Here for the day today. That's great to hear that you're doing all right. Hopefully you don't have any damage from the storm from, your property or your home at all. I'll just say last thing again, obviously stay weather aware with us here for today because the same thing could happen. Folk, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, Michelle. I see your comment, Christian. I want to get to that in just a moment, but let's Folk just real quick because I know I can answer that really quickly. If you're there, I know in Arkansas, you're in that tan shade. You have an enhanced risk here for the day today, and most of that's going to form in the late afternoon hours, probably towards your area. All right, Christian, last thing on Facebook that I see her for the moment. How are weather alert days decided? Weather alert days are decided by officially by our chief meteorologist, Matt Jones, but he comes to the entire weather team, just so you know. He comes to me, he comes to CJ, he comes to Austin, and asks, guys, I'm thinking about making next few days a first alert weather day. So he makes the ultimate call technically about those certain things, but we kind of help suggest first alert weather days happening. And we decide first alert weather day is happening because that's when we believe anytime a first alert weather day happens, that's a day that severe weather can impact somebody's day legitimately, or impact someone's life, or impact someone's property, so to speak. So when those days happen where you need to really be weather aware here with us, that's when we kind of want to tag it off as a first alert weather day, so you really understand that significant impacts could happen weather-wise to the ArkLaTex here during the course of the day then. So great question there. All right, so answered all the Facebook comments there. Going back to YouTube. YouTube actually has a question. Ashley Hall, just in tune, sorry. How is Foreman looking this evening? Will the morning rain help calm things? I wish it did, but no. It is unfortunately not looking like that time. This evening is looking like where you're going to be in the bullseye. Now, according to our future tracks, some of the activities, again, trying to shift more towards like 2 to 6 instead of from like 4 to 8 from what it was yesterday. So I look more towards 2 to 6 p.m. I maybe don't be surprised if it lingers until like 8 or 9. But again, we pretty much have the same timing of things for the same areas, and unfortunately the morning rain not going to help to calm things out later today. And the main reason for that is because we have a stationary front which continues just to kind of linger on rain in between in between massive rounds of severe weather which keep occurring in the ArkLaTex. That's a great question, though. And for that area. All right, we have one new comment from Allie, and then I'm going to go ahead and end the stream from you there after this. What about Greenwood, which I believe is around Shreveport? Yes, just west of Shreveport. That's what I thought. If you're in Greenwood, you're in that yellow shade. You have about a 50-50 call of getting storms here for the day today. It's not a question of whether or not the storms will bring severe weather. It's a question or not as to whether the storms will happen or not. If you see storms coming toward your area, your immediate area, if you just, kind of get the sense, kind of see something out on the horizon there, it is a storm. It is likely to bring severe weather. Most of us along the I-20 corridor yesterday didn't see too much. You're pretty much having the same forecast here for the day today again, where you're getting a 50-50 call. Some weather models are showing we do get rain in the I-20 corridor. Some of them are showing no. What am I supposed to say? So, again, it's about a 50-50 call for you in that area, Allie. All right, thank you for those of you who have watched this stream. I got to end it here. I stayed on for an extra 30 minutes. Give you guys first alert, weather aware. Just so you know, the next weather update coming up will be from meteorologist Austin Evans, who's next up on shift. He has more info for you guys coming up on our show at noon. That'll be in just about 30 minutes. So watch out for that. Austin will have the latest on everything severe weather-wise, the latest future tracks, all that kind of stuff coming up on our show at noon. He'll be tracking that then. We'll keep you posted here and first alert and weather aware here throughout the rest of today. You have a great rest of your day today. I will have the same severe weather coverage again here tomorrow. I'm sorry I made that face, but I'm like, oh my goodness. This is just day 2 of 4 of this, and we might, not gonna lie, I might even come in Saturday to come help out. So busy stretch. Just stay weather aware, stay tight. I know it's a big issue, but hopefully we can all hang around this together. And I actually want to mention one more thing because, by the way, for those of you who've stuck around here, oh my gosh, I cannot believe this happened. I was just about to wrap up this episode. In fact, I will immediately end this episode after showing you this graphic. We just got an update from the Storm Prediction Center. Remember that graphic that's been on my face the entire time? Well, it changed. It unfortunately has expanded. Just a little bit only, but if you look particularly, I know I answered a question about Marshall a little bit earlier. The enhanced risk has grown in size a little bit. If you were paying attention real closely with us earlier, most of our enhanced risk pretty much encompassed all of southwestern Arkansas, McCurtain County, and a little section of northeast Texas, but mainly up by like Atlanta and New Boston. Now the enhanced risk has enlarged a lot more to include Mount Pleasant. I wouldn't say a lot more, but a little bit more to include Mount Pleasant and areas close to Longview and Marshall. So essentially, that enhanced risk is now growing across more of our East Texas counties. Shreveport and Bossier is still in the slight risk. I do want to mention that. So Shreveport and Bossier, still in that 50-50 call. That does not change things. Again, still here for now, which is good to see. But we do have an enhanced risk, I will say, also creeping down into the very northern edges of Caddo and Bossier parishes again. That's similar to what happened with the moderate risk yesterday. So again, point is, same risk for the same areas. Looks like we've just got an update from the Storm Prediction Center, just essentially enlarging that one-day risk there into a good more portions of our East Texas counties. All right, I gotta hop off. I've been doing enough. Thanks for watching here on the live stream on YouTube and also on Facebook. Really appreciate you guys for coming on out here for the day today. Again, make sure you're weather aware here this afternoon, especially if you're in that tan shade, especially since that tan shade has now expanded. Man, it literally expanded as I was about to end the episode. Wow. Anyways, point is, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you very much for joining us. Stay weather aware. Austin Evans, again, has your next update literally coming in less than 30 minutes on the noon show. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all tomorrow on the First Star Weather Breakdown. Be there, be square, and most importantly, be weather aware. Good luck, and trust in us here at KSLA News 12. Have a good day.